rolling page 275. A maspidim ben el lechochem b'fonov. One doesn't say a hesped during Chanukah, only a chochem b'fonov, a chochem in his presence. Meaning, if Talmud Chochem passes away, you're permitted to say the hesped. Hagov misanin yom shmeis bo'ov oeim v'tanis chalom b'Chanukah. People have different minhagim. Some people they fast on the yortzeit. So if one has a yortzeit during Chanukah, one does not fast because it's a summer Yom Tov. Page 275. Gimel. Ein leil simin tov kuf samaches sifei linit tzidik adin. Whether you say tzidkoscha or tzidik adin at a cemetery. Ein leil hilchos rosh chodesh simin tov chof. Bagov ein kam sim tov reish pe gimel. Let's see Mishna Berura Chanukah misanin. Canal b'sif aleph. V'im ovi v'sanu yom shemeis bo'ovi v'imo o tainus chalom. You're not supposed to fast. So ch'lemesiv tainus letanisei achor Chanukah. If you fast, you have to fast for fasting. It's like if a person fasts on Shabbos, which you're not permitted. You have to fast to atone for the fast that you'd fasted. Ein der chaim ashkos b'zeh. Ein leil hilchos rosh chodesh shem kosav dein omrim b'yom shein omrim b'yom tachnun. One doesn't say tzidk adin when one goes to a cemetery. If you haven't been to a cemetery in 30 days, once it's tzedek adin, it's a certain tefillah machayim mesim. So if one doesn't say tachnun, one doesn't say tzedek adin. V'chein l'kamet sim tov reish bei gimel ayin shom aval lifneim lachreim, but erev Chanukah, or there's no such thing as Yisro chag. V'nira dein lahachmit lin tzidk adin ayin l'kamet sim tov reish bei vov lin hesped uvaharbi mekilim. V'afim yutze lahachmir. Case of poskim achrim behesped lefneim. Some are machmir that erev Chanukah one doesn't say a hesped, not only Chanukah itself. Me'el gam tzidik adin ein lomar. So if that's the case, one doesn't say tzidik adin, referred to as tzedek adin. Al kaporim lachrei bevadei lahachmir, but after Chanukah one definitely should not be machmir. Yuchalom et tzidik adin, chen kos pri begodim. Avelus kol yamun noig b'Chanukah. One's sitting shiva, right? A person once sits Shiva on Chanukah. What's it, Purim? Purim is a question. It's not so simple. Person's in the middle of a Shiva. Purim comes. Yeah. Right? It's brought that one doesn't sit Shiva, but one should not go out of the house. In the house, if he's able to have it in the house, or minyan in the house. Happened to me twice. I was in Shiva during Purim. Onein potim ner Chanukah. This is pre-burial. And onein is exempt from ner Chanukah as in the other mitzvah. But his wife should light because his wife has an independent obligation. It's only the husband and wife we see as one. So therefore, the husband, when he lights on behalf of the wife. But if the husband is not able to light, the wife lights. What if she says a bracha? Is he permitted to answer omein? What about if he's all by himself? Prim Gorim says he should light the candles, but without saying the bracha. You have to understand why. I mean, if he's exempt from all mitzvahs, unless you say it's a question of maybe Marasayan, because the Gemara says in Shabbos that if you have a house with two windows facing front and back, you should lighten both. Because people who walk at one side of the street, they'll suspect you're not lighting there as Chanukah. So it could be. I mean, there's a person who he's an onain. That's pre-burial. People may not know. So therefore, Prim Gorim says the person should light the neros without a bracha. What about a person gets old? He doesn't hear. He's hard of hearing, but he speaks. Of course, to be careful. He's considered a fully functional, competent person. No. It's not. That is the covet. That is the covet. That is the covet. That you're, like how we say, a person has a stain on a suit. You say, covet Shabbos. The covet Shabbos is not to doctor the stain. The covet message is to acknowledge the Yom Tov. That it's a Yom Tov. So but again, so abiding by the halacha, despite everything, it's like a person who waives his honor. We're willing to waive his honor for the sake of acknowledging the Yom Tov. It's for the sake of a mitzvah. Okay, so right. Rosh Hashanah. It was Rabbi Akiva. It was Rabbi Akiva. And he gave him the benefit of that all few pack animals with food and so on and so forth. Right. Okay. I mean, the question is a. I mean, I always respond to you when you've asked this kind of question in the past. We find that most Rabbanon's offenses, and many of them are what? Are because of Marasayin. Correct? The Jew has an obligation to his fellow Jew benefit of the doubt. But even though that may be the obligation, but that's not fact. Factually, people don't. So therefore, we have to take that into account. So we create fences that people should not suspect the other person. No, it's wet wash, because people will suspect that he actually laundered. Yeah. Okay. No, it's close to what? That's close to doing the wrong thing. Okay. So good. So what are you asking from the Gemara Shabbos? But here also, I pass by people won't light. There is Chanukah. He doesn't light it. I won't light it. It's not only because you suspect the person. If people don't light, other people won't light. That's correct. That's part of Marasayin. Marasayin is not only because you suspect the person. If people see other people doing the wrong thing, or even though they should have given, you'll do the wrong thing, right? It dilutes, or it actually erodes the sensitivity to the mitzvah. You know, that's you personally, but there may be others that know, but if people are lenient or they compromise on it, so other people will compromise. I'll give you an example. There's a very real-life example. A person never ate in a non-kosher restaurant in his life. Moves into Manhattan. Many people in the congregation, the shul, the synagogue he belongs to, they go eat fish, other things there. It's not so simple. Over time, if he socializes with these people, he knows that it's not permitted. Somehow, it starts blurring, it starts fading. The seriousness and the obviousness and the sensitivity to that halacha, although there's no justification in any circumstance to eat in that restaurant, the person may compromise. Or he has a struggle. What does he have a struggle? He knows clearly what his obligation is. Double wrap. Okay. What do they call that? 1-2 knockout. Double wrap it. Okay. Very rarely. There was very rarely. It's a famous story with Pnei Yeshua. Pnei Yeshua left in his last will and testament, his Savo. He doesn't want to be eulogized. So the Noda B'Yehuda ruled that because he was the Gadol Ador, we overruled him, and they did eulogize him. Because it would be beneficial for the generation to understand who he was. So they overruled him. But there were many, Pnei Yeshua. He lived in Frankfurt. Humility. You know, Reb Nosson Adler was the Rebbe of the Chassam Sofer. The Chassam Sofer, and he was a Kohen. He refers to his Rebbe as a Kohen HaGodol. the high priest. He refers to him as Hanesher HaGodel, the great eagle. And we have very little written in Chidushei Torah, almost nothing. The only thing we know of his rulings is the Chassam Sofer cites in a response to what his Rebbe had ruled. Why? Because he felt like this. He said, look, the only heter to record Torah Sheba'al Peh is because you want to record it for posterity, because it will be forgotten. He says, what's the value of my Torah? What, the future generation is not going to be able to continue without my Torah? Therefore, there's no justification to record it. He held it was a Torah violation to record his Navalei. Because the only justification is because it's Sefer Torah Sechot, the Torah will be nullified unless you record it. That was originally the basis for recording Torah Sheba'al Peh, Rav Yudah Nossi. But he says, what, if my Torah is not recorded, is it going to be a lost, is it going to put the Torah in jeopardy? Definitely not. Therefore, he held, he did not record his Navalei. Although they were exceptional, but that definitely had to do with his humility. This is his humility. What other people do, he says, maybe other people, their Torah has greater value than my Torah. Anybody wrote a sefer at 16? Do you know the what's his name? The Balamor. The Balamor is the contemporary of Ramban. His commentary on Shas, he wrote when he was 14 years old. He's 14, and it's a very vital commentary. They argue continuously, but he's the equivalent of the Ramban. So you'd say, okay, so his commentary, we need, or other, Rishonim. Okay? You know what the answer is, Monofshach. If it's Torah, it should be recorded. If it's not, then it has no value. It's not Torah Sheba'al Peh. You understand? Okay. That's the reason why we don't hear anything from David, nothing recorded. He's concerned he may violate the halacha of Torah Sheba'al Peh. Exactly. It's called Kol Masech V'Sev Nichtovim. Hashem records everything. Everything's recorded. Okay. One has to be extra careful regarding the lighting of Neros Chanukah. The exact same language is cited by regard to Arbakosis. Right? One doesn't have Arbakosis. It says you should even hire yourself out and to borrow to purchase wine for Arbakosis. Even a person who's actually supported by charity. Shoel, he borrows, or mochik suso, or he sells his garment, lokech shemen lahadlik, to purchase oil for hadlokas neris, the nearest Hanukkah. Tzorch lizor, what's the basis? Oma big moro, harogel b'ner having leibonim talmid chachamim. A person who's accustomed to lights of mitzvah, like Shabbos, neris Hanukkah, or neris Yom Tiv, it will cause him to merit children who are talmid chachamim, because that's Torah or. Shnema kinyan mitzvah Torah or. Rashi al zeh ner mitzvah the Shabbos of Hanukkah. When it says Shabbos means Yom Tov also. The Gemara says over there that because there was one Amorah, he lit many candles, he merited to every one of his children was an Amorah. Afilu oni mishum presumi nisa. Why is even the poor man? Why do we put such an obligation? It's presumi nisa. It's to publicize the miracle. One second. Shoel apsochim umechu ksuso o maske atzmo. You hire yourself out. Avo chuyiv b'chol zeh rak b'shul ner echad b'chol layla. This is very important, right? We have different levels. You have mahadrin and a mahadrin. You only have to do this to purchase enough oil for one candle. For the additional, which is mahadrin, that's elaborating on it, enhancing the mitzvah, that one doesn't have the obligation. We kama neris madlik. So the Gemara says that Shalom Bayis takes precedence over Pesumim Yisro. Yeah. because Hanukkah candles you're not permitted to benefit from the candle. But the Gemara says nearest Hanukkah and Kiddush, wine, to purchase wine for Kiddush, then person takes precedence over that. To make Kiddush over bread. Well, you don't do it at all. You're an onus. No, you don't. I mean, it's not speaking you have no food. You have food. But you're not going to be able to say Kiddush on wine. Okay? Kamen Eris Madlik. How many candles was one light on Chanukah? V'lai Rishon Madlik Echod. First night you light one candle. Bikan Velech Mosif Aholich. This is Beis Hillel's position. We add a candle per night. B'cholaylo. Achub Leil Achron. Until we come to the last night, you Shmona. You have 8 candles. Now it's decided. We'll see what happens if you have enough for multiple candles, and you have a neighbor who doesn't have any money for any candles. Do you forgo your mahadrin so somebody else should be able to be Yotze the Mitzvah? The answer is definitely yes. Right. So the last night you light 8 lights. Va'afilim rabim nebayis. This is the Mechaber, famous Shitas of Mechaber per Lo Yidliki Yoser. The Mechaber rules that it's a set of candles for a household. It's not each individual. The obligation of Ner Chanukah is on the household. It's not on the individual. Hagov yesh omrim. No. The chol echod me'abayis yadlik. Each member of the household should light one, and each night add an additional candle. We'll see in a minute. V'chein hamidik poshut. It's interesting. This is one of the cases. The Mechaber doesn't go like the Rambam, right? Because this is the Ramos is the position of the Rambam. The Rambam himself cites the position that it's one set per household. I think he brings it minig svarad, even minig and svarad, but he says no, we do it differently. But each set of candles has to put in its own location, because if you have too many candles, let's say a few people eating right in the same location. The first night you have 3 candles. It looks like it's the 3rd night already. So each set has to be set in its own location. So today that we light in a menorah, right, in Chanukah, it's not a problem, because it's clear from the Chanukah that each one's is separate. But we'll see, we'll discuss a case. People, let's say you share the same Chanukah menorah. One person lights one candle on one end, the other person lights a candle on the other end. It's also fine. Since the candles are not next to one another, it's obvious that it's two separate lightings. It's not the same lighting. But if they would be adjacent to one another, then it looks like the second night. Then it's a problem. Okay? Then they meet in the middle. Okay? That should be obvious how many candles you're lighting at that particular night. Okay, let me see the Gemara now.